Dive into transformative insights that shed light on the reasons why the chosen ones may struggle in social settings. This video serves as a guide to understanding the complexities of spiritual leadership, energetic sensitivity, and personal boundaries. You've never been able to handle excess, loud noises, crowds, empty conversations. While others seemed comfortable amidst social chaos, you've always felt the opposite. An invisible tightness, an exhaustion no one could see, a sudden urge to disappear. But listen carefully. This isn't shyness, nor is it social phobia. It's heightened perception. You're not running away from the world. You're wired to see beyond the veil. Your soul is like an ancient antenna, tuned to frequencies most people don't perceive. When you step into charged environments, it's not just your body that feels it, it's your spirit that screams. Because where there are many masks, your soul recognizes the absence of truth. You pick up on what's hidden. What seems like a casual encounter to others is, for you, an entire vibrational field swirling around. You sense unspoken tensions, unresolved energies, silent pacts of ego and competition. A stranger's smile can carry an entire energetic charge, and your body responds. Maybe with fatigue, maybe with anxiety, maybe with that feeling that you need to leave immediately. This isn't weakness. It's your sensitivity at work. It's your radar saying, this isn't safe for your light. And even when you try to ignore it, your auric field has already read the room. It's already decoded what lies behind the words. It's already identified what no one dares to admit. Before we continue, if this video is resonating with you, take a moment to subscribe to the channel, give it a like, and comment. I am sensitive for a purpose. This strengthens this collective energy and connects us vibrationally. An ancient soul cannot tolerate disguises, and crowds, most of the time, are festivals of emotional masks. People who smile while bleeding inside. People who live on autopilot, repeating patterns, running from themselves. And you perceive this. You feel the other person's field before you even hear their voice. That's why you pull back, because something inside you recognizes that you cannot pretend to be present where there is no truth. Your energy is too pure to negotiate with contaminated environments. You cannot stand being where truth has been traded for appearances, where the soul has been silenced for convenience. You are one of those who hear the silence, who perceive the unspoken, who are bothered by what's not being addressed. You don't fit in because you were born to reveal, to bring to light what has been forgotten, to be a channel for truth in a world that rejects it. And that's why crowds exhaust you, because they shout too loudly when your soul only wants to hear the whisper of the source. Have you ever wondered why, in certain places, your body starts to protest without any logical reason? Why sudden headaches, chest tightness, nausea, or even dizziness arise, even without any evident physical cause? The answer isn't in the visible plane, it's in the invisible. Your subtle body, that energetic field extending beyond your skin, reacts like a living radar. And when the environment is heavy, it goes into alert mode. What you call discomfort is, in reality, a silent vibrational war happening in the subtle plane. The auric field of the chosen one clashes with distorted frequencies around it, as if trying to protect itself from a wave of energetic pollution. Imagine that every person carries a vibrational cloud made up of thoughts, emotions, intentions. Now imagine dozens, hundreds of clouds crossing, mixing, colliding. That's what happens in a crowd. The space becomes saturated. The vibrations overlap, and your subtle body desperately tries to filter what's being received. The heart chakra feels closed hearts. The throat chakra senses unspoken truths. The third eye chakra picks up hidden intentions. And then comes the exhaustion, Because your naturally empathic and luminous field tries to harmonize an environment that has already lost its harmony. Those who carry light also carry an invisible responsibility to stabilize what's collapsing. Often when you enter a dense space, your field unconsciously tries to raise the frequency of the environment. It's as if your energy sacrifices itself to bring balance. But this comes at a cost. And that cost is extreme fatigue, the sudden urge to run away, or the feeling of being out of yourself. It's not drama, it's not exaggeration, it's vibrational sensitivity, and it can no longer be ignored. You need to understand, the discomfort isn't a flaw, it's a language. Your subtle body speaks to you all the time. It alerts you, protects you, warns you. When you ignore it, the signal intensifies. The physical pain grows, the field becomes overloaded, and exhaustion becomes inevitable. That's why respecting your need for silence, for space, for retreat is an act of spiritual wisdom. It's like saying, I honor my field, and I won't let myself dissolve in the confusion of others. The world doesn't yet understand what you feel, but your body understands. Your field comprehends, and it's trying, with all its subtle strength, to keep your energetic truth alive. Because the mission of a chosen one isn't to adapt, it's to preserve in order to activate. Even if it costs you distance, solitude, silence. It's in that space that the real reveals itself, and it's in that space that your light grows stronger. You weren't born to blend in among dissonant voices. Your frequency wasn't shaped to dissolve into the masses or to be an extension of the system. You came into this world with a rare coding, vibrating at a note few can hear, a note that, when played, reveals what's hidden. That's why you don't mesh with noisy environments, shallow conversations, or gatherings where everyone talks, but no one listens. External noise only confirms what you already feel inside. The world is too distracted to notice the essential, but not you. You see what hasn't been said. You feel what's been denied. You translate the invisible, and that disturbs people. Because your presence, even in silence, exposes. You become a mirror, and not everyone is ready to see themselves reflected clearly. It's common that when you enter a space, people get restless, avert their gaze, react without explanation. Some will draw closer, seeking your calm like a safe harbor. Others will pull away, as if something disturbed them, and the truth is, it was you. Or rather, it was your vibration. Because it carries codes of truth that activate, even unintentionally, the shadows others try to hide. Your light touches places many have spent their lives avoiding. You sense manipulation, competition, falsehood, even when everyone's smiling. And that's why crowds hurt you. They drown out purity, numb feeling, and celebrate performance. Your soul craves authenticity, and in the midst of the masses, everything feels rehearsed. You can't stand the excess of words without intention, touches without connection, presences without soul. The overload of stimuli intoxicates you, because you were made to hear the whisper of truth, not the noise of collective distraction. This incompatibility isn't a defect, it's proof of your mission. The frequency you carry isn't common. It's dissonant in a world that has normalized emotional lies. You disturb because you activate. You activate because you were sent. And even if your path feels lonely, that isolation keeps your vibration clean enough to fulfill your purpose. The world wants you to fit in, but your calling asks you to align. And there's a profound difference between being accepted and being true. You didn't come to be understood by everyone. You came to be a channel for what few dare to hear. So if the world's noise wounds you, know this. Your soul is only seeking the silence where truth can finally echo. There's something in you that has always distanced you from the world's noise, and that wasn't by chance. It was preparation. Your soul carries an ancient contract, a vow made before you even arrived in this dimension. And in that contract, there's a clear clause. Silence is your key to activation. Not the silence of shyness, but vibrational silence, that inner space where wisdom whispers and ancestral codes are deciphered. Crowds confuse, chaos disrupts. External voices drown out the only one that matters, your souls. That's why the isolation you've lived, and sometimes still live, is part of the mission, not a punishment. You were led to vibrational deserts because your frequency needed to be purified away from interference. Many who share your sensitivity have astrological charts marked by planets like Neptune, Pluto, or Saturn in hidden placements. 12th house, 8th house, South Node, revealing a path of depth, mystery, and dissolution of the collective ego. These configurations aren't easy, but they're portals. They seal a journey that demands retreat, introspection, and above all, discernment. You were trained to recognize the truth behind the veil, but for that, you need silence, uninhabited spaces, moments when the world switches off and the invisible finally reveals itself. This urge to disappear, to turn off your phone, to avoid gatherings, it's not social laziness. It's an inner call saying, return to the center. And at the center, you hear the voice of the source. There the downloads arrive. There the codes activate. There the instructions come. You're like an oracle that only functions when it's clean, centered, and at peace. External distractions are poison to your sensitivity, and if you force yourself to stay where your energy has already asked to leave, the cost is high. Mental confusion, creative blockage, loss of purpose. So, start seeing your solitude as an initiation. What seems empty is, in fact, consecration. Every time you respect your impulse to retreat, you tell the universe, I'm ready to receive the real. And the real doesn't shout. The real whispers. Only those who silence can hear. Only those who withdraw can decipher. And the chosen one, before being sent, is set apart. They must walk alone to remember who they are, because only after remembering can they be a channel for others to awaken. There's something in you that transforms the environment. Even if you don't say a word, your presence carries activation codes that touch the unconscious of others like an invisible lightning bolt. You enter a space and, without knowing it, start stirring the emotional structures around you. People get restless, withdraw, or become agitated, often without understanding why. But you understand, or at least you're starting to understand now. You're a vibrational catalyst, and that's not light, it's not always well received, because by catalyzing, you bring to the surface what was repressed, denied, hidden beneath appearances. The chosen one doesn't need to try to awaken anyone. Their frequency does it automatically. You're like a quantum mirror. Your light touches the dormant parts of others and forces them to face what they weren't ready to see. This includes old traumas, ancestral wounds, unhealed pain, and when these layers surface, the ego feels threatened. The shadow panics. The unconscious protects itself with what it has: rejection, judgment, sarcasm, distance. That's why you often face veiled attacks, silent exclusions, or even hostilities that seem to come out of nowhere. But it's not out of nowhere. It's because your light triggered something that was carefully kept in the dark. You've also felt this force at work, people who love you intensely and then suddenly disappear, others who admired you and then start avoiding you, relationships that seemed promising and collapse without explanation. All of this is tied to the force you emanate. Because you're not neutral, you're an initiator. Your energy demands movement, change, growth, and not everyone is ready to live that. Some are too attached to their pain to let go. Some prefer to keep sleeping. And you represent awakening. Therefore, you represent danger. Don't blame yourself for this. Don't try to adjust to be more acceptable. The catalyst wasn't made to blend in. It was made to activate, to provoke the necessary chaos before healing, to be the element that arrives and accelerates processes, breaks patterns, destroys illusions. And as hard as that may seem, It's part of the plan. Your soul accepted this role before incarnating. It knew it would be misunderstood, judged, rejected, but it accepted it anyway, because it also knew that light only heals what it has the courage to touch. Keep walking, even when they don't understand you. Keep shining, even when they try to dim you. Your mission isn't to please, it's to awaken. And sometimes awakening hurts, but it also liberates. Have you noticed how your spirit breathes better when you're alone? How the world seems to fall back into place when silence embraces you? For the chosen one, retreating isn't a sign of weakness. It's a ritual, a sacred act of returning to the center. Crowds consume, fragment, scatter, but retreat reintegrates, purifies, reconnects. When you withdraw, you're not escaping. You're obeying an inner call that guides you back to the sanctuary of your soul. It's there that your true strength begins to pulse. It's there that spiritual commands are heard clearly. Just as ancient oracles retreated to caves, temples, or deserts to receive visions and revelations, the sensitive of today need solitude to realign their vibration. Every time you retreat, you cleanse your field. You dispel interferences. You close portals through which energies that don't belong to you were entering. The world calls this isolation, but in the spiritual plane, it's a silent ceremony of energetic rebirth. Your soul undergoes constant rituals, and each one requires time, space, and silence. You cannot carry elevated codes if you're constantly immersed in dense frequencies. The chosen one's field is like a crystal. It needs to be recharged, cleansed, protected. This means there will be times when you need to say no. No to the party, no to the invitation, no to the gathering. And that no is, in truth, a yes to your mission, a yes to your realignment, a yes to your commitment to the truth you carry. It's not selfishness, it's spiritual fidelity. It's the courage to prioritize yourself when the world insists on draining you. It's in silence that the invisible presents itself. It's in solitude that the guides speak, the downloads arrive, the most precise decisions are made. What the world calls weakness, the universe recognizes as consecration. You were set apart for a reason, and that reason needs space to flourish. Don't try to explain your retreat to those who don't understand frequency. They'll see absence. But those who feel will see the sacred. Retreating is praying without words. It's meditating in motion. It's sealing the field. It's honoring your own energy to the point of no longer negotiating it. And when you return, after retreating, you come back with clearer eyes, a firmer heart, and a brighter aura. Because those who respect their own time of silence return with the authority to break through what was stuck. You've tried to fit in. You've forced smiles in places where your soul wanted to scream. You've accepted rules that hurt your sense of being just to be normal. But the truth is, you were never from here, at least not in the vibrational sense. Your soul carries memories of other worlds, other realities, civilizations where truth was the foundation of existence, where there was no need for masks, where energy spoke louder than words. And by incarnating in this dimension marked by density, competition, and illusion, something in you broke, not out of weakness, but out of vibrational incompatibility. The current earthly system is too heavy for a frequency as subtle as yours. The social structure was built for control, not for expansion. Everything around you seems to demand a mold, be more extroverted, more productive, more adapted. But your soul resists, because it knows these molds suffocate the essence. You feel the weight of artificiality in closed spaces, in scripted conversations, in demands that ignore the heart. Every forced gathering, every soulless task, every mechanical interaction, it wears you down deeply, and your body reacts, your mind blocks, your field retracts, because your being screams, "This isn't natural," and it isn't. You're a starseed planted in dense soil, And that's why you feel everything more deeply. You sense before it happens. You react to what hasn't been said. You perceive that something's wrong long before others notice. This sensitivity isn't a curse. It's evidence of your origin. Many chosen ones carry karmic imprints from past lives in subtler civilizations, like Lemuria, Atlantis, or parallel realities tied to the Andromeda Galaxy or the Sirius system. These memories weren't erased, they were merely put to sleep, but they keep operating in the background, creating this constant sense of not belonging. And when you step into a crowd, this feeling intensifies. It's as if the entire planet screams that you're in vibrational exile. But this isn't punishment, it's a mission. You didn't come to adapt to the collapse, you came to anchor a new model of presence. You're a bridge between worlds. And your discomfort is proof that the old no longer contains you. Your soul, carrying codes from other realms, can't live disguised for long. Accept this as a seal of authenticity. You're not failing, you're remembering. You're awakening memories the system tried to silence. And every time you honor this estrangement, you get closer to your origin. The world doesn't understand you because it's still operating at another frequency. But you've already started vibrating in the new, and that's why it hurts, and that's why it matters. You've spent too much time trying to understand why you cause so much discomfort without even opening your mouth. Why even with your heart at peace, your mere presence destabilizes environments and unsettles people. Why, without doing anything, you're misunderstood, excluded, attacked. Now it's time to know the truth. It's because your frequency is already in operation. And when it activates, it disturbs, it disarms the ego, it breaks the pattern, it tears through the veils. You don't need to speak, you just need to be. Because your energy carries codes that stir what was dormant and prod what was buried. When the chosen one is vibrating in their truth, they become an interference in the old system, a kind of spiritual dissonance, a noise in the programming of the collective ego. They can no longer be controlled by the same tricks. They don't buy the same stories. They don't dance to the same music. And because of this, the system reacts. The world tries to silence, diminish, discredit. But the more the chosen one is attacked, the more signs they receive that they're on the right path. Resistance is confirmation of the mission in progress. If you're being criticized, rejected, accused, ask yourself, what in me is activating something others aren't ready to see? You were made to break through, and breaking through hurts, not just for you, but for those still trapped in what you've already overcome. They see in you what they should be accessing, and can't. And that reflection causes discomfort. You become a mirror of everything waiting to be healed, and when pain hits, the ego blames the mirror. But you didn't come to please, you came to reveal, you came to activate. And activation isn't always well received because it demands change. And not everyone is ready. So don't mold yourself to be accepted where your truth causes discomfort. The friction you provoke is sacred. It's the necessary tension to break ancestral gears, inherited patterns, oppressive structures. What sets you apart from the group isn't a flaw. It's a sign of energetic preservation. What distances you from the crowd is what keeps you clean enough to be a channel for the new. You disturb because you're already functioning, you're already emitting, you're already catalyzing, you're already transforming. And that's not easy, but it's grand. You were made to be a spark amidst repetition, a portal amidst concrete, a dissonant note in an outdated symphony. Your vibration is your sword, and it doesn't need to be understood, it just needs to be held firm, because the time of the awakened isn't the time of the distracted, and when your presence disturbs, it's because it has already begun to illuminate. If you've made it this far, it's because something inside you already knew, already intuited, already recognized this call, even before seeing it written. You're not strange. You're not wrong. You're a sensor of the new world, a living antenna in the midst of a sleeping civilization, and that's why you feel too much, see too much, absorb too much. But all of this has a purpose: to prepare the way for a new frequency on Earth. Your solitude wasn't absence, it was consecration. Every time you distanced yourself, it wasn't rejection, it was vibrational protection. Every time you felt out of place, it was the universe reminding you you don't belong to the pattern. You're the beginning of the breakthrough. You weren't made to adapt to the noise, but to channel the truth. You didn't come to be one more, but to be a point of light amidst collective confusion. So honor what you feel. Honor your sensitivity. Honor even what hurts, because even pain is a tool of revelation. Your field carries memories, gifts, keys. And what today makes you pull away, tomorrow will be what makes you a reference. Those who don't understand you today will one day seek your silence as relief. Those who ignore you today will one day recognize your frequency as healing. You're not alone. There are others like you, scattered across the world, holding the vibration in silence. Light workers hiding among crowds, waiting for the right moment to emerge. And that moment is coming. It starts here, now, with you. If you felt this message was for you, write in the comments, "I am the guardian of silence." Like, subscribe, and share with those who also feel out of place. Awakening is collective, but it begins in the soul of the solitary.